Hello and namaste. In continuation with the statistical techniques, we'll be dealing with the Karl Pearson's correlation after the detailed introduction of what is correlation. So we have seen in the last session that what exactly the correlation when it has been done, it has been you can say the defined by Karl Pearson's itself, then positive correlation, negative correlation, uncorrelated, and the range of the correlation, and so on. So many things we have done in the previous session. Please follow the I button for the previous session. Then in this particular Karl Pearson's coefficient, I'll be introducing you with the different formulae, and I'll be giving you when and which. So there are different formulae of the Karl Pearson's coefficient, and which are applicable or which can be useful smartly in the given conditions. So what are those given conditions? We'll be discussing it today. After that, we will be starting with one. So this part what I have done, it is a part one. Part one means what I have done this part based on the formulae and based on how the approach. What is given or what is known, accordingly we have to find out the correlation or the correlation coefficient. So this is what I have done it for part. Okay, so for the formulae, let us go for the first one. The numerical measure of correlation is called coefficient of correlation, or sometimes it is known as correlation coefficient or coefficient of correlation, one and the same thing, and is defined by the relation small r is equals to summation of x y upon n into sigma x sigma y. Now understand, this is a capital X and capital Y in the numerator. So what is this capital X means? This capital X is nothing but the deviation from the mean. What do you mean by deviation? Deviation is nothing but the difference. Okay, and therefore mean x bar, that means this capital X. So what is it? It is nothing but capital X is equals to small x minus x bar. So it is a difference between a point and its mean, right? So a particular point xi minus x bar. Okay, and we know that x bar is nothing but summation of xi upon small n. So this is nothing but the arithmetic mean, or you can say the mean of the distribution, mean of that particular variable or particular whatever the variable has been given to us. Then capital Y is nothing but the deviation from the mean, with mean y bar, that is y minus y bar. And the sigma x is standard deviation of x series. It's been given to you as x series. It's not a variable actually. Sigma y is the standard deviation of y series, and small n is the number of values of the two variables. So now this is the first formulae which has been given to us. Now here it has been in the numerator, the denominator, specifically actually the formula differs in the denominator only. So it's a sigma x, sigma y. So if at all we are aware of the sigmas of the capital X, of the small x and a small y, or otherwise we could also find it out using the formula, that can also be done. So this is one of the method. Then second method goes as the method of calculation is a direct method. Now in this direct method, there are the two formulae. One is substituting the value of sigma x and sigma y in the above. So this is what sigma x, that is a standard deviation, is nothing but square root of summation of x square. But what is x? So it is nothing but, so sigma x is nothing but square root of x minus x bar the square, right? Because it's been given to us, which is nothing but square root of summation of x square, right? Because x is x minus x bar. Similarly, sigma y and so on. So this is a complete different. This is complete square root sign, right? Okay. And another form of the formula in which quite handy for the calculation. Now, why am I saying it's a quite handy for the calculation? Because we don't have to go ahead and find out the capital X and capital Y and so on. We have to directly use small x. That means what? Whatever is given in the example, that directly the values we can go ahead and find out. So instead of actually find out the x bar and y bar, and actually this first method or first formula is applicable when my x bar and a y bar is having a perfect number, or that means what? Not a fraction. At that time, I'll be going ahead with the first one. So I have given you the answer for this question. Which one? X bar and y bar, if they are not a fraction, they are a complete number as in 99 or 98 or if this type of numbers are there, then we will be going ahead for this first formula. Is even we can go for the second one, that wherein instead of going for the sigma x, writing for the sigma x and sigma y, we can go ahead and write down it as a summation of square root of summation of x square, which is square root of summation of x minus x bar the square. So this is what is nothing but for the second one. Now this handy I'm saying it because whatever the values has been given to us, we will be directly going ahead with this. But this is normally whenever we are going ahead with the calculations, and if you are having the smaller numbers, then it is applicable, or this is very useful, because anyways we are working already in a scientific calculator, so it doesn't matter for us for the calculation, right? So this is the second formula. Now third formula goes as when my x bar and y bar, they are not a perfect number. That means they are coming like this, some suppose 99.0 some 087 or something, or otherwise I could write down that as 23.578. So if I'm getting my y bar or x bar something like this, that means they are in a fractions. I will not go with the previous method, so I'll be going ahead with assumed mean method. It is known as assumed mean method. It's not assumed mean. So in the case of mean is a whole number, above method is simple, but when the mean is in fraction, shortcut method is used. So this is also known as a shortcut method. So in this method, the deviations are calculated from the assumed mean of the following formula is applied. So this is what is the formula has been given. So n, so somewhere I have written the small n, somewhere I have written the capital N, only because I am referring the different books and giving you the very simple calculations in front of you. But whenever I'm using a small n or a capital N on some other formula, I'm giving you the formula. I'm not, every question I'm giving you the formula, and just this is, I'm doing it only to make you familiar with any method, right? And this lecture series are applicable for any student, where whoever is using whichever book should be able to understand this, and that is the only purpose of mine, to make you realize or make you understand with each and every notation. That is the reason sometimes I might go for capital N, or sometimes I might go for small n. It is just my honest you can say the try for the giving you the perfect method, or just simplify whichever the book you are referring for, you will be giving that. Okay, so it's capital N summation of dx dy minus, so dx is nothing but d suffix x. It's not dx differentiation of with respect to x. It's not like that. It is dx suffix x dy minus summation of dx summation of dy. Now what is this dx? Summation of dx is nothing but summation of x minus ax. That means it is the difference between the point and the assumed mean. So this ax is nothing but assumed mean of this particular x. Similarly, ay, assume mean for particular y, then the square of them, and then the formula goes as, right? So we have to just, so this is the explanation given to you here for each and every term of this particular formula. Okay, now let us go ahead for the first one. Calculate the coefficient of correlation between the x and y series from the following data, which is summation of x minus x bar the square is 136, summation of y minus y bar the square is 138, then summation of x minus x bar into y minus y bar is given to you as 122. So this has been given you as the question. The question is calculate the coefficient of correlation between x and y series from the following data. So this is only the data we have given. So that means what, we have not been given the x and y values for this, something like this. So we have been given directly the deviations here, right? And therefore we'll be going ahead with this particular formula which I have given you. And again, I have simplified further. R between two variables x and y is defined by the relation. Small r is summation of xy upon summation of upon square root of summation x square into summation of y square, which is equals to p upon sigma x sigma y, which is equals to. Now this p is summation of xy is also known as, or this p is known as covariance of, or covariance between x and y, divided by variance square root of variance x, that is a standard deviation, because we know that standard deviation is nothing but the square root of variance of x, right? So this is what has been written here. That's, I just wanted to give you a glimpse of that, what is sigma x, what is this p covariance and all. Then again, this is what we have defined in the previous. Then again, this is what P is equals to summation of xy upon n, which is known as the covariance of this. So sigma x, sigma y being the standard deviation of this series. Now this is the formula which we are going to use it here particular way. So summation of x square is given to us, that is summation of x minus x square, the square, x bar, the square is 136. This is summation of y square, summation of xy. Again, it's a capital, and whatever is given to me as with respect to a small, right? And therefore, this is a formula over here, what I have written it for the same thing, whether you have to write down. So it's nothing but the square root of a into b is equals to square root of a into square root of b. The same thing I have used it. Sometimes I'm using square root of summation of x square into square root of summation of y square. Sometimes I will use it both in the one, just the same thing actually. So it's 122 upon this is equals to this one, which is equals to, so we have got the answer as 0.89. Now again, this is minus 1 less than equals to 0.89 less than equals to plus 1. That means what? This is my small r, and small r lies between minus 1 to 1. Yes, that is why we have got the correct answer here, right? And always whenever you are calculating a small r value, always please do check the answer whether it's lie between the minus 1 to 1. If it is not, please go back and correct your steps in between, right? Okay, now the next question is calculate the coefficient of correlation for the following data. The student A, B, C, D, E, F up to IJ, and this is IR and ER, some numbers, some values, some variables they have given us. So we will not go deep into it, what has been given to us. This is what, so if it is given to me like this, it's my choice whether I have to say this as x or this as y. Let me take it the first one as my small x, second one is my small y. So there is no choice actually, because they have not specified which should be my x, which should be my y. Anyways, it doesn't matter, because if you observe the formula in the previous slide, it does not have any effect whether which one is your x, which one is your y. Doesn't matter at all. Okay, therefore this is x and y. Okay, these are the values given to us. Let us go ahead with the same thing over here. So small r is summation of x, y. See, what is the difference between these two questions? First is they have given directly the values of this summation of x minus x bar the whole square, right? Summation of y minus y bar the whole square, and this. Wherein in the present case, x and y has been given to us. So directly the values has been given to us. Now, let us go and apply the same formula. How we can go ahead? Let me just explain you for that. So as I've told you, we'll be going ahead with this particular formula, and that is the reason I have made this in a parts. So if I'm dealing with this particular question here, particular formula here, the next part might be with a different formula I'll be dealing with. Okay, so it's x minus x bar is capital X, and that is what we have defined it here. Similarly, so I have to find out the mean of that. Now what is summation of x? Actually it's not x bar, it has to be x. Let it be. So just complete that. This is a summation of x. Instead of x bar, it is summation of x. So it is summation of x upon n, which is 990 upon 10, because I have to R them. So if I'll do this a totaling over here, I've done it. So it's 990, the total for this particular x. Please use the calculator and complete this. You should get actually 990 and small n. Now small n in the present case is 10, because I have been given here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 observations. So these are the 10 values of x and y, or IR and ER has been given to us. Therefore, the value of small n is nothing but the 10. And therefore, 990 upon 10 will give me 99. See if we have got this 99 as a perfect number. We have got it here 99 as a perfect number. It's not a fraction. Therefore, we can go ahead with this particular formula. Similarly, this y minus y bar is equals to capital Y, and therefore again I have made the mistake over here, I guess. This is a summation of y. It's not a summation of y bar. Y bar is one single number. So y bar is summation of yi, you can say, or some summation of y, doesn't matter over here actually. Xi or yi upon small n, which is 980. So this is addition of this ER. I would say it's ER only. I would not say it's a y. So it's nothing but 980 upon 10, which is 98. So again, if you see this, both of them, they are not fractions, right? they are not fractions, and that is the reason we'll be going ahead with this particular formula. Okay, now this is purposely I have made this table because this table goes very simple. If you'll observe this table here, right? Okay, let me just explain what how can I go ahead and form the table here. I needed a summation of x into summation of x into y. That means what? I need the value. So I first table is serial number I need, suppose, or otherwise I can directly say that this one ABCD, that is the student's name. So I'm saying it's a student name. Then after that, what I needed, I need the values of small x. Then I need the difference, that is the x minus x bar. So I need x minus x bar, which will be nothing but the capital X, because I need all of them. I need the summation of this column. So I need the summation over here, right? Similarly, y, I have to write it down. Then after that, I'll be writing y minus y bar, which is my capital Y. Again, I need the summation of this particular cell. Okay, then what I needed, I need this capital X square, because I need it here. Summation of x square I need. So I need capital X square, I need capital Y square, and then I need the multiplication of them, that is xy, and all those sums we need it here. So we need it here, all those sums. So this is nothing but we can accommodate in the next table. Okay, so this is x minus x bar, that is capital X, y minus y bar, that is capital Y, x square, y square, and xy. These are the name of the students, as we are aware that n is equals to 10 in the present case, right? Okay, and therefore this is the formula. We have got all of them. So this is x minus x bar. What is x bar? We have got it from the previous table. It is 99. Then y bar is nothing but we have got it as 98. So this particular, if you'll observe, this x minus x bar is equals to capital X. So suppose I wanted to, I just will show you one thing. That is 99 minus 99. Here you got it as 0 here, right? Similarly, this is 98. That means what? This particular column has come up, because see, I have got it here 0. I've got it here 0. That means this particular column has done it y minus y bar. That means what should be my y bar? Y bar is my 98. Similarly, x bar is 99. So this 6 has come from 105 minus 99 is 6. Then 104 minus 5, not 5, 99 is equals to 5. 102 minus 99 is equals to 3. Similarly, the other numbers follow. Now here also, let me explain this. So what is this? This is 96 minus 98, which is minus 2, right? Then 104 minus 98, which is equals to 6. 192 minus 98, which will give me minus 6. So in this way, we have formed this particular table. X minus x bar, y minus y bar, capital X, capital Y. Similarly, this x square, y square, and then the product. So we have to just take the multiply the square of x square, so this is nothing but the multiplication of this here, the square of this particular, then the multiplication of these two columns will give me, and these are the sums over here. So if we put the values here in the particular small r, so I'll be getting is 92. So summation of xy, this is here. So this is nothing but summation of summation of capital X, capital Y. Then this is 170. 170 is summation of x square, capital X square. This is summation of capital Y square, right? And that is what we have put it here. After that, we'll be getting the answer as 0.5963. That's all. And this is again lie between 0 to minus 1 to plus 1. And therefore we are on a right track, or you can say that 0.5963 is the answer for this particular question. Okay. Then this is a self-observation you have been given. Oh, where? Okay. You have been given 2 questions. The straight questions I have given you. I have not twisted the question anymore. And the small r has been given to you. Cross-check the answer given to you. If at all there is something you wanted to ask me, please put a comment in the comment section so that I can address those. Yeah, this is what is from my side. Thank you. Happy learning.